Alright guys, let's take a quick tour about Adobe Photoshop. So when you open Photoshop, you're gonna have several stuff that you can see. This menu is leading you to the learning path, and if you want to, first we're gonna create a new file, so you can press Ctrl N as you can see the shortcut right here, or you can click on the create button, just like that. So when you're gonna create a new document, you're gonna have these pop-up windows where you can set up your different elements. So you have a bunch of pre-setting here, pre-recorded stuff. So you have the recent document that I just used, so maybe yours is empty. I didn't save any specific layout here, so it's empty again. You can select the photo elements, so you're gonna have some different settings. You can go for the print, illustration, webs, mobile, or film and video. The only difference, especially, is the settings in the color synthesis and as low into the resolution. And in web and mobile, you can have the workspace management, and we don't need that for our creative process right now. So what we are going to do is just selecting, for example, print, and we are going to click on the A4 format 21 by 29. I'm gonna explain you some stuff here first. You can see that you have the width and the height of your element, as low the orientation that you can select this, and you have as low the unit that you're gonna use. You can use pixel, inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, and picas. Mainly you are going to use pixel, inches, and centimeters, millimeters. It's really rare that you use this one. As though another very important concept in Photoshop is the resolution concept. Resolution is defining the quality of your image. The main unit we use is the dot per inches. And as you could suppose, the DPI expresses the number of pixels in 1 inches. Pixel is the acronym of picture element, and this is the common way that we express the quality in the design industries. To make it short, 72 dpi, it's the common resolution that is dedicated for the web. It's not really 72 because it was actually relative to the CRT technology a long time before, because now the most quality on the phone or the other device are really more than this. But for the print, generally speaking, you're gonna see that we use 300 dot per inches. So you could get something like 150, something like that, but most of the time you're gonna get 300. So this is for the resolution. And as though you get a very big difference between RGB and CYMK, I advise you to check the image that I'm gonna upload onto the platform. I'm gonna upload you this image just to show the quick difference. It's the difference between the RGB, the additive color synthesis, and the CYMK, and you're gonna see that mostly, for the most part, this one is used for the web and this one is used for the print. Okay, as though something a little bit different, if I'm showing you here, on the right side you can see that I got my RGB version of the same image, and on the left you can see that it's a little bit less vibrant, and this is just a copy paste of the CYMK version of this image. So there is the CYMK image and there is the RGB image. So you can see that the tones are very more vibrant, but they just don't exist in real life. So if you want to print this, you have to add some more stuff to do. I mean, some more chemical stuff, or some other color for the printer. By default, you can't really use the RGB color synthesis in order to print something in a good quality. So this is for the RGB versus CMYK. So now let's have a quick tour of our Photoshop interface. We were on creating a new document, so let's go again onto this part. What you can do just to try it, we are going to go into illustration or impression, print, and let's go for an A4 format. Okay, so you can let the color RGB like this. For the moment, it's not really a problem. So into the interface now. Let's see first the left side tool panel. This is where all the tools are located that you will be using to modify your artwork. You notice that there is two different views, one in column or one that you can set in two columns. So if you press on this little double arrow, you can change it on the fly. It's really depend of your own settings, so it's up to you to see how it's done for you. What you can do as well, every kind of tool are stacked up together with this little tiny arrow. It means that if you click and if you stay left click, you're gonna see the other tool here. Again, another method to do it, exactly the same stuff, you can right click and have different tool that you can have here. So this is why for the tool that you get onto the left part. So it's really up to you depending on your own preference. And on the right side, you have a series of docked panel structure. Each of these panels give you additional option inside the program. And as a beginner, you probably just need the layer panel called Calc in my French version. So it makes sense to customize the interface. You can, of course, collapse these different target services by clicking onto the little tiny arrows here. If I want to drag, this is I advise you to pick the layers here. You can push them up and swift it to the side, and you can rearrange that the way you want. So you can really, and you can see that as a panel, or you can as low rearrange them as just tiny icons. So for example, if I'm setting the wall element like this in icon, and if I'm putting my layer into, you're gonna see the highlight, so it means that you're gonna be rearranged into it. If you click on it, you're gonna have the wall panel that's gonna appear again. Let's admit that I want it onto the top. You can drag it up, and you're gonna see that the wall layer is gonna be here again. What you can do as well is go into the Windows menu and set the different workspace the way you want. So let's admit that you want to go, you have finally different workspace that you can have here. It's really depending on your work. You have more for 3D artist, graphic and web, motion designer, digital painting artist or photographer. It really depends on what you want to do. Photoshop is for everyone. It really depends of your own settings on own demand on the tool. For example, I have another tool, another workspace that I created, just really simple one. If you want to go back from scratch, you can go to workspace, and here you can go by the pretty early settings that we get before. So I just advise you to get the layer first. This is what we're gonna need for the other part of the class here. So here is for the floating panel on the multiple element that you can bring here. Let's admit that you put the layer here and by mistake you close it. You can go into the Windows menu and you can go with your layer again. Or let's admit that I close it by that I close all, by mistake. You can go into the Windows menu, Workspace, and you can go to scratch, go back from scratch to just go back from the initial settings of Adobe Photoshop. You get as low some learning paths here, so I advise you to have a quick look on this element. But first, we have set our layers in the centers, and there is Aslo, and I collapse my element like this just to put that in icon to give me some more room in order to work. And Aslo, what I like to do is to click onto this little burger menu and to go onto the option panel, and then you have to be sure that you are on the right big label here because it's more useful. What you can do as well, what I like to do in my interface is to set up the Windows menu, then the navigation panel. That's gonna allow us to have the part of our image here in really big in order to zoom in and to move inside our image like this. So this is the main stuff that you're gonna need in Photoshop. You could as low set some other element if you want. For example, you can go for the history panel. That panel allow you to see the different kind of action that you do into, for example, if I create a new document here, you can see the whole different element that I've done here. So if you go back into it, you're gonna see, and you're gonna be able to go back and forth. So this is it for the first part of our interface on Photoshop. Thanks for your attention. See you in the next video.